Hello and welcome to the Genuine Learning Blog. My name is Melissa Galasso, and today we're going to talk about business arrangements with SOC tool providers. This was a very hot topic at the AICPA Engage conference. It's something that we've been hearing about from the ethics division for a number of months now, and so not surprising that we've kind of gotten to the head on this one. As a result, the AICPA's Professional Ethics Executive Division decided to issue what they call a staff insight. And this staff insight helps people understand where you could go wrong when you have a business arrangement with SOC tool providers. Obviously, there's a lot of questions about whether these SOC tools are appropriate, whether the relationships between the auditor and the SOC tool themselves have any issues, about the quality behind them. We hear a lot of, guarantees that you're going to pass or really, really low fees as a result. And so this has raised a lot of questions about quality. It's raised questions about ethics. It's raised questions around independence. And the AICPA wanted to address it. So you are allowed to enter into business arrangements. However, these arrangements can create threats to independence and compliance with the AICPA's Code of Professional Conduct. So the issue is when a member has a business arrangement with a SOC 2 business tool provider while simultaneously performing a SOC 2 examination for the tool provider's customers. So when you think about these, SOC 2 examinations are done under the SSAEs, the Statements for Standards on Attestation Engagements. We provide an opinion. This is an examination, and this is where the public can trust the work that's being done. As a result, just like everything else, we are seeing new technology in this area. Everywhere we're seeing technology, so we're not surprised to see it here, but we have to make sure that we're applying judgment and the rules to these type of arrangements. And so there is a threats and safeguards approach. These are not explicitly prohibited in the code, obviously. So then we have to say, okay, well, what could be a problem here? And so any contractual terms or arrangement between the provider of the tool and a member, the CPA, that shifts control, judgment, financial dependence, promotional activity, or access to evidence away from the member and towards the tool provider needs to be evaluated, right? We cannot let the tool make our judgments. We cannot let the tool decide the outcome. We need to make sure that the tool, in terms of evidence, is providing exactly what we need. So we have a couple of different threats to independence. The first one is an undue influence, right? This threat may arise when the arrangement could cause the service auditor to subordinate their judgment to the tool provider. You have to get a clean opinion. You have to do it in a certain period of time. Those are very, very dicey. And then obviously the self-interest threat, particularly around how we're being paid here. This threat exists when the fee arrangement between the service provider and the tool provider is used to benefit the service provider or the service auditor financially or in other ways. And a lot of times we're seeing a referral network basically in here. So these are just a handful of the issues that you need to think about. The first one is when the service auditor refers clients to the tool provider and the tool provider refers its customers to the service auditor with or without compensation. So when we're thinking about this undue influence or the self-interest threat, right? If compensation is paid, obviously, and we have a very high concentration of these clients or introductions or referrals, or it may look like an exclusive relationship, that tends to lead itself to a potential conflict. The second one is the agreement gives the tool provider contractual rights to observe the examination or take part in discussions between the service auditor and the service organization about the examination. Obviously, if you were to look at this from a reasonable informed third party, you would conclude that the tool provider is participating in or influencing the engagement. That's how we get to that undue influence area. Or the tool provider asks the auditor to complete the examination with a specific period of time, trying to make this sound like they're easy and fast. Obviously, you cannot subordinate judgment and follow their timeframes. You have to make sure that you have sufficient appropriate evidence. So all of those things are problematic. So there are lots of things that we're seeing in here. This is a very, very hot topic. There are more and more of these tools which can create these issues. But we want to be very careful also to look at language. So a tool provider's promotional materials guaranteeing a clean audit or 100% pass rate. Obviously, that is false or unjustified expectations. That's a bad advertising. Or a tool provider's promotional material misstate that the service auditor's credentials, such as claiming audits are AICPA approved auditor. Obviously, any CPA is approved to perform audits as long as they are properly registered with their state board. So again, we need to make sure that we are using language that is clear and consistent. So there's been a lot of conversation about this. I have provided the first link is a link to the actual staff insight so that you can read the thing in its entirety. But I also gave you 2 Journal of Accountancy articles because, again, this has been a hot topic and we want to make sure people understand they're very comprehensive. So if you are working in this world and you are working with a tool provider, this is something you need to be aware of. So that's a wrap on this week's blog. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on a future blog. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.